Hey guys, I'm Brianna and this is TBH Plant-Based Reviews. Today I'm going to be showing you how to plant microgreens.
And I'm Tyler, behind the camera.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to plant your microgreens. We live in Canada, Toronto, Canada, where it is still snowing outside, and we just made our own grow setup. You can check that out in a previous video that will link below. We wanted nice, fresh greens that we could have year-round, and they only take about a week to 2 weeks to grow, depending upon the variety. So these ones, normally, we've been doing broccoli sprouts. Normally they take like a week, but ours have taken about 2 weeks with the way we've been growing them. So I'll talk about this a little bit more later. So I wanted to touch on why we're doing microgreens in our condo. Microgreens are really, really nutrient dense. They're like 40 times more nutritious than like a full-grown head of broccoli, which has tons of nutrition anyway, but the smaller baby version has a lot more. And they're really easy to grow. And not only to mention, the organic sprouts that we see in like our local metro are like $5 for a tiny little container like this big. So let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to be starting with some ProMix organic vegetable and herb soil. We got this from Costco. It's a giant bag. It was only $17.99. We'll link that Costco haul below as well. Very good deal. And this is really good soil. We've had 2 successful batches so far. And so I'm just going to show you how we do this. I took some in from the outside because it's cold outside, and I put it in this just enamel bowl that I got at the thrift store. You can do this in anything. It'd be nice if you could do it outside if you're actually in a warm place, but right now we're in the kitchen, so whatever works. So what you're going to want to do is just moisten this with cold or warm tap water till it gets to a consistency where it sticks together, but it's not soaked through. And I'll show you. I'm just doing this. You can wear gloves, gardening gloves, I don't care. Whatever you feel comfortable. You can do this with a spoon if you want. So I already did put a little bit of water in here, so I'm just adding more. This feels pretty good. So it's like clumping a little bit. So you want to be able to grab it, squeeze it, and have it run just a little bit. See that?
That's perfect.
And then when you open your hand, it's not dripping wet, but just enough so when you squeeze it, it's dripping just a little. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to take our pre-moistened soil. Moist soil. So what we've been doing, and has worked out really well, is reusing these containers that we get from the grocery store. So when you buy grape tomatoes, when you buy strawberries, these little plastic containers are perfect for microgreens. And they're completely free because you already bought them. So give them a good wash and let them fully dry out. They're good to go. And I'll show you the other ones we've used before, but I'm just using these guys because they're free, and why not? Reduce, reuse, and recycle. So I'm also going to be putting this on top of a plate for now, just so the soil doesn't run out of our container onto other lights or anything. We will be getting trays to be growing microgreens on and stuff like that, but we just haven't had the chance to get them yet. So I'm just literally going to take my soil and start putting it into the container. So you don't need too much because these little sprouts are going to have a very small root structure. And you only let them grow for about a week or 2, depending upon what you want. So it's not that crazy. I'm only going to fill this baby about, what, an inch?
Yeah, I'd say that's about an inch.
About an inch.
Pretty packed as well.
Yeah, I like to just compress it a little bit, so that way you have a nice even surface to sprinkle your seeds on, which we'll do after.
Yeah, we found with kind of some of our first batches that the seeds pooled together
Right.
in some of the pockets of dirt, which we then just had to kind of flatten the dirt out by compressing it. So
Exactly.
learning by mistakes.
Yeah. Alright, so today we're going to be using the Food to Live organic broccoli sprouts. We got these from Amazon. They were like $25 for a whole pound. You do need a lot of seeds when you're doing microgreens because you want to do a generous layer on top of your soil. They're not going to be going to full maturity, so you just need a lot to cover the whole surface. So not only to mention that the seeds are organic we're using, the soil is actually organic too. So these are actually fully organic microgreens. How cool. So I'm just taking like a tablespoon for now. We'll see how much this covers. And I'm just going to be sprinkling them all over the top. So when I say generous, I mean it. But do you see how on the sides it's not as even? And they pool a little bit more. But that's fine. So that was less than a tablespoon in that one right there. That's totally good. You kind of just eyeball this. You want a good layer on top. You could do less than this too if you don't want it as thick, but that's about how much we do. You just want the tops covered so it looks nice and even there. And then once you have them on top, I like to just take your fingers and just kind of pat them in a little bit. Ooh. Ooh-wee. To set them in the soil. To try to prevent... This isn't working very good though. Just saying.
Usually I kind of rub it around, layer it out, you know. I do this.
Rub it around.
You know, give it a good rub it.
Just needs a little tappy poo. Since this is our third batch, we did our first batch we did with a little bit of soil sprinkled on top. And at first I didn't like the way the microgreens grew on top. I mean, grew with the soil growing on top. Oh, Jesus.
The microgreens pushed up and it kind of pushed some of the soil with it. So on top of the leaves was some soil sitting on there. But our second batch, we actually found that with the seeds just sitting on top, they kind of grew a bit differently. Not as well as being underneath the soil.
But they did both grow, and they're both doing completely fine, so whatever you prefer, really. I like adding a little bit on top. You don't have to. You can actually just grow your broccoli sprouts on a paper towel. I've yet to try that, but I'm definitely going to be trying it. You just have to keep it moist. So I just did the thinnest layer on top of these guys, just barely to cover it. I can still see some poking through. That's all you need. And now I'm just gonna spray these guys down with a gentle mist. Gentle. You want to give it a good little dousing for its first water. And make sure you have a gentle spray so you're not like swooshing the seeds all around. Okay. Ta-da! Just a nice light mist would be fine for these. And you'll be able to tell, you just want it to be damp, the soil. You don't want it to be soaking wet. You don't want it to be too dry and crumbly. But that's it. So, 2 times a day, keep them covered till they sprout. And then 1 week later, you'll have this stage. Which these are strawberry containers that we are reusing right here. They're getting there. This is only 1 week of growth. And these ones we actually put a heating pad when they were just starting to germinate. I haven't found that it makes a giant difference. So that's up to you if you want to do that. You could. It helps them supposedly grow a little bit faster or just pop out of their pods. So that's 1 week. I found that ours take like 2 weeks, I would say, to fully mature for microgreens. And so then after 2 weeks, you're going to have these. So these are 2 weeks of fully grown microgreens. And this was just a grape tomato container, a big one.
Yeah, it's very big.
Yeah. This is about the same size as 2 strawberry containers. So
yeah, and about 4 of the small ones that we just planted.
Yep, exactly. So, how do you know when these are ready to pick and eat? You can eat them right now at this stage. If you want, I would say 2 weeks is plenty of growth. But there's one little thing that you should be looking out for. And I don't know if you can see this little guy over here. Try to get it.
It's like, where's Waldo right now, honey?
I know.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm right on it.
Okay. So, if you look very closely, there's a teeny tiny little leaf coming in between your 2 starter leaves. That's called your true leaf. So that's your first leaf to your actual plant. So once you start seeing these, your true leaf coming up through your 2 starters, which these are the starter ones. I don't know if you can see. It's just 2 little heart-looking leaves, and you're going to get a small one coming up between that, which this one doesn't have fully yet. But you can see some of them are starting to get it. So once you see the true leaf, you are good to harvest. These are going to be used in our weekly meal plan for next week, so we're just waiting to harvest them until then. But to harvest them, you literally just take up a bunch and you cut them with scissors, give them a good rinse off, and keep them in like a dry paper towel in a baggie or a container in the fridge, and they'll be good for a whole week. So we're really excited to put these on sandwiches or soups or even salads. You can make a full microgreen salad that'll give you a super energy boost, but that's if you're going real clean eating. These are just added nutrients for us on a daily basis. So our goal is to just try to have a little bit more greens that we can grow at home and to have a tray or 2 ready for us each week. We are going to be trying new different varieties. We just wanted to buy a big bag of broccoli sprouts because broccoli is our favorite. And yeah, that's microgreens, guys. If you have any other questions about anything microgreen related, please ask them below. We can help you as much as we know, and if not, maybe we can learn something together. Be sure to check out our other video of our full grow setup. Tyler explains in depth how we built this, what products we use. So if you have any questions about that sort of thing, definitely check that out. And besides, it's really cool. So hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below what you're growing this summer and what other sprouts are your favorite. Bye.